Imagine living in a way where you never had to prove yourself, where you won every challenge without lifting a finger. That's Musashi's secret, and today, I'll show you how to use it. Ever heard of a man who mastered the sword so perfectly, people believed he was untouchable? I'm talking about a man who didn't just survive 60 real-life duels, he walked away from them undefeated. And yet, here's the craziest part. He believed the real battle was never against the other person. The real enemy, always himself. His name was Miyamoto Musashi. Now, don't make the mistake of thinking this is just another samurai legend. Musashi wasn't out there swinging swords for honor, fame, or glory. No. The guy was chasing something much deeper. He was studying the very nature of conflict, control, and human behavior. And the older he got, the more he realized the true art of victory is winning without fighting at all. You see, life isn't that different from a duel. Whether it's at work, in your relationships, or inside your own head, most of the fights we step into aren't even necessary. But because we don't know how to control the situation, we charge straight into battle. And when you step into battle, you risk loss. Musashi figured out how to win long before the first sword was ever drawn. And that's what we're about to explore. Most people hear the name Musashi and picture a lone samurai, foggy mountains, wooden sandals scraping against stone, katana strapped to his side, waiting for the next duel. But the truth is, the sword was just the surface. Musashi wasn't obsessed with swords. He was obsessed with understanding life. The sword was just his tool, his classroom, his laboratory. This man wasn't born a legend. Far from it. His early life was rough, raised without much family, drifting through Japan like an outsider, challenging people twice his age, learning not from schools but from blood and mistakes. And the older he got, the less he cared about the sword itself. He cared about something else: strategy. You'd think after defeating some of the best swordsmen in Japan, the man would retire a cocky hero, right? Nope. Musashi became more and more detached from fame, comfort, and even style. He dressed simple, lived simple. He even stopped using fancy swords, sometimes choosing wooden sticks over steel blades, because for him it was never about the weapon. It was about the mind behind it. His real art was about winning before the fight even starts. And now, here's the part that blows my mind every time. Musashi wasn't the kind of man who swung his sword just because he could. In fact, the deeper you study his life, the more you realize the true goal was to avoid fighting altogether. Anyone can pick a fight, that's easy. But to control a situation so well, so calmly, so confidently, that the fight never even happens, now that's real power. Musashi believed most people lose long before the battle even starts. They lose in their mind. They let fear slip in. They let ego cloud their judgment. They rush, they panic, they underestimate. And that's the moment they're defeated. He once wrote, "Perceive that which cannot be seen with the eye." That right there is the secret. If you can read the room, read the person, read the moment before it explodes, you can shape the outcome without ever lifting your hand. Whether it's a duel, an argument, a business negotiation, or a breakup, the sharpest minds win before the first move is even made. That's why the older Musashi got, the fewer duels he actually fought. Because when your mind becomes sharper than your sword, nobody dares to draw theirs against you. Now imagine that applied to your own life. What if you handled situations not with force, not with arguments, not by proving yourself, but by understanding the rhythm of people and bending it before things even get heated? That's Musashi's real art. Winning without fighting. And this is the backbone of everything, because the real gold lies in the qualities that shaped Musashi, and the fact that you don't need a sword to live like him. Detachment from ego. Most people lose because they're too busy trying to look strong instead of being strong. Musashi didn't care about image, he cared about preparation. When ego runs the show, emotion blinds you. You fall into traps. But when ego is silent, you become untouchable. Mastery through repetition. Musashi wasn't a fan of talent. He believed in grind, repeating the same moves over and over until they stopped being skills and became part of who you are. That's how you handle pressure. You train until calm becomes automatic. Adaptability. Musashi didn't stick to one style. He invented his own, Niten Ichi-ryu, a two-sword strategy. Fluid, flexible. Same goes for life. Adapt or get cut down. Facing death calmly. Musashi understood that fear of death is what makes people weak. When you stop fearing the worst, you start moving differently. You stop hesitating. That mindset applies today, whether it's failure, rejection, or loss. Once you stop fearing them, you become free. Embrace of solitude. Musashi spent long stretches alone, not lonely, alone. Because that's where the real battles happen. Alone, there's nowhere to hide from your doubts, distractions, or excuses. And when you conquer yourself in solitude, you become unshakable in public. Now here's the funny part. You'd think a man like Musashi would be irrelevant today. Swords, samurai, ancient history. But the truth is, his wisdom is more valuable now than ever. Because the modern world is full of invisible battles. People aren't fighting duels on the street. They're fighting for attention, for validation, for status. And most of them are losing because they never learned the art of controlling themselves. Musashi was never training for a sword fight. He was training for life, a calm mind, a steady hand, a heart that isn't baited by fear or ego. That's the real strength. And that's the kind of man who walks into any room and owns it, without raising his voice, without lifting a hand. So let me leave you with this. The next time life tempts you to argue, to prove, to force, pause for a second and ask yourself, is this a battle I need to fight or a battle I've already won? Because that's the Musashi way. If this hit you deep, you know what to do. Drop your thoughts below. Share this with someone who's still busy fighting the wrong wars. And most importantly, remember, winning without fighting. That's the real power.